Baseball happened tonight. The Astros continue to tread water. They got 8 hits, but Jose Urquidy was a little too inconsistent. Matt Chapman struck again, a second home run in 2 games. The Blue Jays won this 4-2. We're going to talk about this on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you out at when you're not playing pickleball?
Hey, man, that's right. I'm pickleball extraordinaire now. H-Town Wheelhouse at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. Positive, I love listening to the Astros, but I'd rather listen to them win. Always Stros.
Well, I think everybody would rather listen to them win, watch them win, whatever it is. And definitely, guys, make sure you tune in on Wednesday night as the Astros go and wrap up the series against the Blue Jays at 7:10. Catch every pitch of the Astros regular season on Sirius XM, on the Sirius XM app, and just awesome experience. So if you can't catch it live or you can't catch on TV, go and keep it up there. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and keep on subscribing. Go ahead, tell a friend to tell a friend, and go ahead and make us your first listen every dayers. Yes, we're talking to you, the people that tune in every day to listen to us talk about the Houston Astros. Win or lose, you're called an everydayer. So make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. So do we want to talk about the good news before we dive into the bad news?
Well, look, we're 8-10, Eric. It's early part of the season. I mean, why don't we just hit them with the good stuff, and then we'll kind of sprinkle in the doomsday stuff, and we'll talk about putting up the Gold Rush jersey. I'm joking. Go ahead, man. Let's start positive. How's that?
Yeah, you can't keep on going back and forth with the Gold Rush jersey.
I know that was a complete joke. I'm being totally tongue in cheek there. But go ahead, Eric.
All right. So Dana Brown was asked about Michael Brantley, and they said that he's ready for game action, and he could be with the AAA Sugarland Space Cowboys as soon as Sunday. It's going to, and this is what Dana Brown said, it's going to be probably playing in his first game in AAA, maybe on the 23rd. After that, we'll make an assessment on how he's doing there, and we'll have some idea of when he's going to return. So he's coming back at some point. And also on Jose Altuve, he's doing well. I was in a training room with him. I was watching him do his thumb exercises. He's on track, and it could be sooner than we thought. So, are they doing like thumb wars?
Maybe he had his phone and he was like swiping. I don't know.
Yes. So those are some of the good news. I know they haven't really talked too much about what's going on with Lance McCullers. I know that he did throw some long toss, and so he's making some progression there. But for the bad news, all of a sudden, Chas McCormick went on an IL with back stiffness or tightness. And so this is just out of the blue. We thought that he just couldn't see, but apparently, that was part of it, but he was working out on Sunday and then his back tightened up. So now he's going on the IL, retroactive back to Saturday, because that's last time he didn't play. So he's on a 10-day IL with lower back tightness, and he's eligible to come back on April 25th. And Dana Brown fully expects him to come back on April 25th. And so all the reporters, including newest Athletic reporter Chandler Rome, that's right, he's moved over to the Athletic. But all of them were asking all day Monday, all day Sunday, what's going on with Chas McCormick? He's not here. We can't talk to him. But now we know why. His back was hurting and he couldn't work.
Well, let me correct Trev Stros here. Trevor, we have won 2 games in a row. We won on the 9th in Minnesota and the 10th in Pittsburgh. So we can literally win 2 games in a row. And real quick, Salazar, the reason why he pinch hit, I mean, why not pinch hit him? I know you say why not Diaz, but he was 2 for 2 in his last 2 pinch hit at bats. Now, the thing I want to talk about at the end of the game is why in the world is Jeremy Pena swinging at a first pitch slider? You know this guy specializes in a power slider, and you know you're susceptible to this slider. What the heck is Jeremy Pena doing swinging at a first pitch, not taking to see him? Because that first pitch was not a strike. He would have got a ball. The next pitch would have been a slider, probably would have been out of the zone as well. Now you're up 2 balls, no strikes. Jeremy Pena lined out on the second pitch of the at-bat. That was terrible. He had a chance to get up there and at least get another run across, hit a single, do something. But he didn't panic, but that was not a good at-bat. And those are the things that when your pitching is not starting the game well, when you're giving up home runs to Matt Chapman, and when you're getting the 8 hits and you're not scoring runs, but you're trying to make a comeback, that's something that Pena has to think about going up to the plate. And so I think the whole debacle in the 9th inning had to start with Pena, because he had every reason to take. I mean, even if it's 1-1, take another pitch. Take your first 2 or 3 pitches. Let him get those sliders out of his system, because chances are he goes 3-0 on you. He's going to try to get the fastball over the plate. And he's a very good slider pitcher. So I just saw that and I was like, okay, if we're swinging at first pitch sliders, this is not going to be good. The Blue Jays just had our number tonight, Eric. You know, when you hit 8 balls into the field, you're supposed to score more than 2 runs, because Yordan Alvarez smoked the ball 113.7 miles an hour off the bat. Jose Abreu hit 109. Kyle Tucker hit 108 after fouling it off of his freaking knee, which I was scared to death. Alex Bregman 105, Mauricio Dubon 103, Kyle Tucker 102. So they hit plenty of baseballs with expected batting averages over 800 all night.
Yes.
He just didn't finish the job.
The problem was Alvarez rolled his ankle after he hit that 113.7 mile per hour.
That.
And so
that was scary.
Yes. And it was, if you go look, it wasn't just a ouch. It was a whole snap and jerk and everything. It did not look good. And he did hobble down to first base. He did stay in, but if you look at him advance on Kyle Tucker, we'll talk about Kyle Tucker in a second. But if you look at him hobble over to second base after Kyle Tucker's single, he did not look good, and he was removed. I know they probably removed him more for maybe to get more speed on the bases that late in the game, but I think he's hurt. There may be a chance maybe it's just precautionary. We'll find out in a second.
Oh, you mean when they took
Alvarez out?
Well, yeah, I think it was precautionary, and plus Hensley's got speed anyway. So why wouldn't you? I mean, yeah, he just rolled the ankle. Sit him on the bench. Hensley's going to stay in the game anyways. If you go to extra innings, Hensley can play anywhere on the field. So it's kind of a win-win for the Astros in that situation, because had they had the opportunity to score and had Pena not done what he did, I just think, look, Pena's not a rookie anymore, and he needs to take a more veteran approach to the plate. And he has been swinging and striking out a lot. And someone's like, why didn't Yainer Diaz pitch? Well, he's 22.2% strikeout rate right now, and he's only 11% walk. He's not exactly hitting the cover off the ball. The guy's, hitting, what is it, 240? No, not 241. I'm sorry. He's not. He doesn't have that many plate appearances here in 2023. So he's not going to be your guy to go in and pinch hit. Yeah, he's hitting 222 right now. So it starts with Urquidy, Eric. What did you think about Urquidy tonight? Because I was hoping that Urquidy would come in and put zeros up on the board. he's susceptible to giving up the long ball, which he did. But what did you think about? Did he look rattled? Did he look rushed? I mean, was it just Urquidy not placing the ball where he needs to place it?
He just was throwing strikes. He just was doing what he normally does. They just made great contact. You had Vladimir Guerrero hit his first home run with the at Minute Park against the Astros. You had Matt Chapman, who's been Shohei Ohtani or Babe Ruth put together in the past few weeks or so. So It just he made some bad pitches, but overall it wasn't the worst game. But the offense was just shut out by Chris Bassitt, and it just makes you want to just go out and maybe search eBay Motors and just find a new vehicle just to go ride your pain away, right?
Exactly. And for a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit for the team. And I believe the players we have are a perfect fit. And it's the same when it comes to your vehicle. And maybe sometimes your vehicle, like the Astros, isn't running the way it needs to because maybe you need to get new parts. And when I talk about the players, maybe they just need a rest. Maybe they need to rehab that foot a little bit. So the next time you need parts for your car or accessories, and we're not talking about a new ankle for Yordan, but the first time around, you usually might get a part that doesn't exactly fit your car, but this is what you do. You add your ride to the My Garage. You look for the green check to know that your part fits, or you get your money back. I mean, it's easy. You don't have to pay for something you can't use. So just like sports, confidence is the name of the game. When you shop on eBay Motors, you can have that with over 122 million parts to choose from. You'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I know Willards is saying that that Chapman should have not hit that home run because he should have been called out on strike 3. And so he should not have been in that situation. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you can't, umpires are going to affect the game. We saw how many missed calls that the Astros had to challenge. And it was kind of obvious that the thrown out when Bichette was thrown out at second base. Then you had Mauricio Dubon extend his hitting streak at the last possible moment to 13 games. But it was very obvious that he beat the throw, but umpires mess up. And until you go to automatic strike zone, and even that's going to have its little faults. But yeah, I mean, he still made a bad pitch in that situation. So Chapman crushed the ball. And yes, we can say the umpires messed up this game, but overall, Urquidy gave up 4 runs and he came apart in the 4th inning. And we're going to talk about some rules in a little bit. But if this was the new rules that they're trying in Atlantic League, you know what? Who would not be in the game anymore? Corey Julks, because Urquidy did not last 5 innings. So because Urquidy did not last 5 innings, then the Astros would have lost the DH for the rest of the game.
So on those pitches, I'm sitting here looking at the on Baseball Savant right now, and it looks like all the strikes, the 2 balls that they called balls, it doesn't show. It shows both. It shows the 3rd one. Okay, that's what you're talking about, where it was okay. It was up in the zone. So yeah, he's right. I mean,
yeah,
that probably should have never happened. 3rd strike, you're out. But that's the thing. As like you said, as a pitcher, you got to come back and make.
There's a margin of error.
It's margin of error. It's going to happen. I mean, there was a call on Tucker or someone late in the game where they called a really high pitch that was a ball. They called it a strike.
And this is on Solo Thoughts Sports says that Blemmer pointed out that Urquidy was a little bit off. His lower body to his upper body were out of sync, which was throwing off his release point a bit. Yeah. So I was kind of doing some stuff. I wasn't really paying super attention to what was going on. I was just like,
well, I think that's something you have to be looking for. And you know, it's hard for us to catch everything. That's why we watch the game. That's why we listen. That's why we include you guys. That's why we love for you guys to interact with us, because we don't see the whole picture. You know, some people may go places and act like they know everything, but that's not how we roll. Urquidy, and if that's the case, him being out of sync because he's such a simple thrower, because he has such a simple windup, right. That's going to affect a lot. And so he's not a herky-jerky wild thrower like a Whitley, like a Paredes. But when Urquidy's on, he's on. And he's been more consistent than not. The Blue Jays did only score 4 runs. It's not like they beat the snot out of the Astros. And the Astros did have a chance to score late. They continue to score late runs, but they're not scoring anything in the beginning of games, and that's a little concerning. Going forward, you hope that changes. Corey Julks didn't have a great game tonight. Jake Myers got a single late. So those guys that have been contributing lately just didn't really come through like you needed them to, because Jake Myers is in there until McCormick comes off the IL.
Yeah, unless they decide to put Mauricio Dubon up in center field, and you can have Ryland Bannon play second base, or you can have David Hensley play second base. That's why Dana Brown said they brought up Bannon instead of bringing up Justin Dearden. Dearden is not hitting well down in AAA. He needs more time to get some everyday at-bats. If he were to come up right now, he's not going to have an everyday role unless you decide to just throw him up. You really are just tired of Jake Myers. But Jake Myers had a 2-for-4 day yesterday. He had 1 hit today. Yes, his arm is not the best, but he plays some pretty good defense overall. But he is showing some signs, and they're not going to bring up Justin Dearden for just a few games while you're waiting for Chas McCormick.
Well, you can't start his time because he's not on the 40-man roster, because Bannon and Perez are the guys on the 40-man roster, and I believe Perez is actually in AA. Joe Perez. I don't think he's.
No, he's in AAA. I was looking at. Yeah.
Okay. So those are the only 2 guys that they could have. I think Bly Madris is not even on the 40-man. I thought he was earlier. He's not. Someone corrected me on Twitter. So yeah, I mean, Ryland Brandon's got the minimal major league experience. You're not gonna. Who are you gonna DFA right now? And don't say Jake Myers, because that's not gonna happen.
No, and you don't have to, because if you're looking at the progress of Jose Altuve, he does not look like he's going to be coming back within that 60-day window. So you can still add him to the 60-day IL. Lance McCullers, doesn't look like he's coming back, because even if he's ready to start progressing to throwing off the mound, you still have to send him down to AAA, AA, wherever they're going to try to get him extended. And that's going to take about 3 weeks. So you can still add one of those 2 to the 60-day IL. So there's still option
Earlier, when you were talking about playing in AAA, was that Michael Brantley you were speaking of with Dana Brown? Okay. I just want to make sure that I didn't mishear you or misremember what you had said. I think tonight's it's baseball. It happens. The Blue Jays right now are playing better baseball overall. They've got a better cast of characters, but again, they had 8 hits too. They only scored 4 runs. That home run really changed things. Dude, Matt Chapman, can we just walk him next game? Like, walk him every time he gets up to the plate. The guy's hitting over 400. I mean, why even pitch to the guy? He is dangerous in the lineup, and I don't want to see another bite. Yeah, 415. Yeah, walk the dude. Like, forget that crap. He's got Kirk behind him. Walk him. Who cares?
Yeah, he's the next Tony Gwynn, right? Like I was talking to Craig
right now he is Tony Gwynn. He is right now, but with power. Remember, Gwynn wasn't a big power guy. He was a contact guy, spray hitter. Love Tony Gwynn.
I know. And I was talking to Craig of the Locked On Blue Jays podcast, and so far the series has gone totally opposite what we predicted. We predicted that the first game, Gausman would dominate the Astros, and the second game, you would have Urquidy dominate the Blue Jays. And then we said game 3 would kind of be a toss-up. And don't worry, guys. You know who's got your back? Kyle Tucker has you back. We still got to talk about his injury, or if it's even an injury, but he was down for a little bit. But Luis Garcia, he's got your back with a 0-2 record with a 7.71 ERA. If nobody's got your back, Luis Garcia's got your back, and I'm going to stick to that.
Well, look, here's the deal. I just want to thank everybody. Just as a side note, from the Locked On Astros team for making us your first listen every dayers. Thank you so much, because tomorrow's show will be a post-game show. Eric and I will hope to make it a great post-game victory show. Listen to us. We're also going to talk about what is it going to take to get this offense off the ground. You know, y'all are talking about trades in the chat. It's too early for that. But let me tell you something. If you like talking trades, if you like putting a team together, go to Ultimate Pro Baseball GM. Right now, if you download the app, go to probaseballgm.com. You'll get a 100% free boost. Use a promo code Locked On in the game shop. If you're watching the show, even if it's not live, you see right there in the corner, there is a little QR code. Scan that, get it on your phone. It's easy to play. It's a fun game. I love it. I am not the world's best GM. I might be the world's worst GM, but what I still do is I have a lot of fun doing it because I have a minor league system. I have coaches. I can fire them. I can hire them. I can upgrade facilities. I just got restricted again from I'm a horrible spender on video games. Now, I don't do this in real life, but it is just one of those things where you've got to watch how you spend. But if you really like the GM aspect of baseball, go to Ultimate Pro Baseball GM. Go to probaseballgm.com and use a promo code Locked On for 100% free boost. I promise you'll love it. It's free to play and you'll have a blast. Go Astros.
All right, and don't forget that you can always catch all the Astros play-by-play on Sirius XM tomorrow night. We got Jose Barrios versus Luis Garcia. Both pitchers have a 7-something ERA. So this could be a pitcher's duel, or this can be a slugfest. So I don't know which one we want, but you can catch all the action on the Sirius XM app and go ahead and search Astros, and you can find all the play-by-play stuff going on there. So definitely something to be a little worried about. Luis Garcia is looking a little bit hittable right now, but I think somebody like, everybody says maybe it's the Rockabye Baby motion going, but I don't know. It looks like he's dropped some velocity a little bit. And it seems like the Astros, somebody said at the beginning of the podcast, they said, are the Astros pitchers just not doing that well, or has the league caught up to the Astros rotation?
No.
And so that's a really good question.
It's not. No, this is not the league catch. This is our pitchers are not performing. This is not like a pitching staff this good doesn't have a second year where the league's like, we've got you all figured out. Because if you're executing your pitches, I don't care what game plan you have, that invisible, you're swinging and missing. Urquidy's placing that ball in the right places. Framber Valdez is going 7 innings. The bright spot in your rotation, no offense to Hunter Brown, is not Hunter Brown. Your pitchers simply have not delivered what they delivered last year. This is where I think sometimes, and someone's going to get on to me for saying this, but you don't have a veteran presence like McCullers, like Verlander, in this bullpen. You do have veterans, but they're not those guys. And so I think you lose a little bit on the front end, maybe mentally, right? So then you go into games, your attack, the conversations you have before, the planning you go into, all that stuff adds up. On top of that, when the relief pitchers aren't really holding up their end of the bargain, then the offense isn't really producing. It all kind of has a domino effect. Winning is infectious. Losing is infectious. But like I told someone today, I did a little spaces for about 30 minutes just randomly on Twitter. And I said, while we are panicking and freaking out, the players aren't. While we are worried about Bregman's 220-something, Bregman's not going to the locker room sulking and in the shower going, oh, I'm such a horrible hitter. I'm a shell of my former self. Like, these guys come to the ballpark and they've said it. We show up and we expect to win every single game. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you. And that's the mental toughness and challenge of baseball. And that's why baseball is one of the hardest sports out there to play. So ride the storm with these guys. They are our ride or die. We know that they are still one of the most talented teams in the American League. Things are going to pan out. I think things will be fine. Again, I warned y'all this year was going to be tough. And everyone's like, oh, it's a typical April. I still think this is a different April than the last few Aprils. This is a different team than last year. It's not the same team. It is not. So it's going to take more. It's going to take more effort. It's going to take more extra stuff. It's going to take some luck. And You'll see, though. We'll be fine come June, July, August. We'll be back on top.
Thoughts by Dusty.
All right, so this is kind of inspiration for the title. This was actually after yesterday's win, but it's kind of illustrated in today's loss as well. We get killed one night, and then we have a big night the next night. We're just trying to find some form of consistency. Right now, we're just kind of treading water.
Treading water?
Treading water. Yeah, sorry. I think I misspelled it.
Now, if you're threading water, that is, I want to see how you're doing that, because that's talent.
Well, you can. You just get the needle and you just go through the wire like that. So, but yeah, the Astros just feel like they're kind of gonna just hover around the 500 for a little bit until maybe you see but Altuve come back or Brantley come back. And I don't think that Brantley is the answer to everything. I think he's going to come back. Who knows how healthy he is, everything. But I think that the Astros just need some good things to just roll their way. So I think that good positive notes is that the strikeouts are coming down a little bit for the hitters. We have DeBond that's hitting better. One thing that's a little bit scary from today's game that we kind of been skirting around was the fact that Kyle Tucker fouled a ball off his, I believe it was his right knee, and he was down for quite a while. And they didn't think that he was going to be able to stay in the game, but he was able to smoke a line drive to right field to get another RBI. That's the reason why the Astros scored 2 runs in this game. Was Alvarez hurt himself to drive in a run, then Tucker hurt himself to drive in a run. So sometimes it hurts so bad to score. But
okay, you always try to link stuff to songs, and I love that about you, Eric. But I just think once these guys get back, Brantley gets back, I don't expect him to play in the field much. I expect him to be DH almost every game. If he's coming back from a shoulder surgery, you are not going to play him by that short porch in left field where that Crawford box where he can run into that wall or he can do some damage to his shoulder. You DH the heck out of him. You put Yordan in left field and you just let Yordan play. And you know what? You're going to think you're going to probably start Brantley 2 or 3 games in a row. Then you're going to rest him. Put him in DH. Don't put him in the field. He's got no business being out there at first. Let him get used to hitting. Let him be that hitter. And who knows? He may not come back with perfect timing. Altuve will typically get off to kind of a slowish start. Hopefully he doesn't do that. Hopefully he's prepared when he comes back. And so the only, I think, bright spot about these next 3 series is the Phillies haven't been playing great baseball, Eric. The Phillies aren't exactly world beaters or looking like a World Series team from last year. They're not playing great baseball. We've got Atlanta. We go to Atlanta, and then we have Tampa, I believe, and then Philadelphia. The cool thing about Philadelphia is it's at home. So we get an off day this week. We get an off day to travel to the Braves. And look, we can win any of these games, but they're going to be tough. I think we play up to the competition. I would like on this road trip, I would like to go 3-3. I don't care which 3 we win. I just want to go 3-3. There's 3 in Atlanta, 3 in Tampa. Come home. Let's take 2 of 3 from Philadelphia. Let's take the Sunday night game from Philadelphia. That's an ESPN Sunday night baseball game. And let's take the big and bright Friday night because we can open the roof and have a reason to celebrate the fireworks instead of the fireworks drowning out our sorrows. So, yeah, 500 road trip is what I'm looking for these next 6 games after our final game against the Blue Jays.
We have a Yordan Alvarez update. Dusty Baker said after a game that he turned his ankle in the 8th inning and was removed for a pinch runner so they can get ice on it to keep the swelling down as quickly as possible. So that's good, I guess. But he did not look comfortable trying to trot to second base. He definitely did not look comfortable going to first base. That is something to monitor. You already lost Chas McCormick. You're already down 2 other people that have been on the IL all season. So the offense is already struggling, and you have the helter-skelter kind of offense anyway. So hopefully they're able to dominate tomorrow, because Jose Barrios, he's not the same guy that he used to be. Yes, he is the one that broke the Rays winning streak to start the season, but he's still also very homer prone, and I think the Astros can get the job done, but the Astros just got to score early and often like they did in the first game versus the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they have to hit the ground running, score some runs. Those hits need to turn into runs. Stop swinging at first pitch sliders. Please take a pitch. It's okay. Take a pitch. You get to see more. The Astros will be fun. Let's come back on Wednesday. I'll be there tomorrow to get the Chas McCormick World Series ring. I won't put it in the drawer after I get it. I'm ready to reign. Let's go, Astros.
And so I guess, Brett, you and I have a chance to make the major leagues. If the Atlantic League rules come by, they have the pitch runner. So the pinch runner can come in a game. So I don't have to hit. I don't have to play defense. I can just go in and run.
It didn't say pinch jogger. It said pinch runner.
Okay, sorry.
Neither one of us have the speed to. Now, I would like to think, I would like to have enough pride and ego to think that or you could. But dude, even with the bigger bases, can we make the bases like 4 feet? 4 by 4?
That's stupid. I don't think that's going to go to. That's beer league. That's like the guy's too drunk.
We don't have time to third base. We don't have time to get into these new rules.
Yeah,
but they are freaking Mickey Mouse. And I'm sorry, stop the fraud. And that's what I'm to call Manfred. Stop the fraud. He's killing the game. And just like when they told us they were going to stop charging tolls once the Beltway once a tollway was paid for, they're like, oh, it'll be free. What do? They up it every freaking year. They're still taxing us for that. They double tax us on I-10 with the Katy toll. So if you think baseball changing 1 or 2 rules is going to end, think again, kids. You're welcome. You got your shortened game. Well, guess what? It's coming with a whole lot more rules. Enjoy it. New baseball, I don't like it.
And the new game comes with a better hitting Mauricio Dubon. And this episode is brought to you by Mauricio Dubon's 13-game hitting streak. So that's all we got for this episode of Locked On Astros. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Astros. You can find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find Mauricio Dubon somewhere on Twitter. I don't know his handle is. But we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully talking about an Astros victory, and go Stros, and we will see you tomorrow.